my name is Mimi and I am here with a new video. If you are new to my channel, which you are, because this is my first video, go ahead and like and comment, hit that post notification bell so that you're updated whenever I upload. My channel will consist of many things, so if you're looking to stick around for the fun, hit that subscribe button and let's get into the video.
Now, we talked about the terrifying Navi shaman animatronic yesterday, but we didn't talk about this one, and frankly, this one is 10 times more horrific, in my opinion. When you're in line for the ride, there is like this science lab that you walk through the queue, and there is a gigantic tube with a huge 10-foot long Navi animatronic inside, and it's like moving like a fetus. It's like kind of like twitching, you know, like how a fetus does. Disgusting. I'm going to show you what it looks like in a moment, and it is quite literally gut-wrenching. But like what I'm thinking when I see this video and when I see these pictures and everything, the one thing I'm thinking is about being like the cleaning crew at night and it being like midnight and you're the only person cleaning around this line and this queue, and this animatronic is still on and it's just twitching and moving, and I'd be just so scared that it would pop out of the glass and get me. Ugh, this is the most disgusting submechanophobia animatronic that I have seen yet. So enjoy.
Imagine if we had these in real life. Who's to say we don't already have them?
Guys, I just got home from school and I see this like hole in my wall, and like next door I have a really creepy neighbor. Like, let's take a look. What the fuck? Oh my god, oh my.
What she said. And you know what?
Look inside.
What was that? Okay.
ভাই ঘরের ওই কোনায় দেখেন কিছু একটা কোনায় ওই যে এই ও মাই গড কি ওটা কি ভাই আল্লাহ ভাই এই ছেলেটাকে তাড়া করেছে দাঁড়ান কোনো কথা বলেন না তারা ওটা কি এটা জানা না আমার ছেলেটা আমাদের ওনাকে রাস্তাতে আসছিল এই ছেলেটাকে কিন্তু অ্যাটাক করেছে ভাই ওটা কি বোন মানুষ মনে হচ্ছে ওরকম কিছু একটাই তো লুকায় রয়েছে এখানে কিন্তু লুকায় রয়েছে দেখেন এখানে কিন্তু লুকায় রয়েছে বুঝতে পারিনি ওখানে আসে কেউ না লুকাইছে কোথায় ওখানে এখনো দেখতে পারিনি কিন্তু
খোঁজ দিচ্ছে কিন্তু এখন ওরে তুই যে পাচ্ছে না দেখেছেন উঠিস নে তুই উঠিস নে লাইফ রিস্কি আছে আজকে কিন্তু খুব মাথা নিচে কর উঠিস নে
Also, I don't know what you're saying. If you do, let me know in the comments. I didn't really understand that. So if you did, let me know in the comments.
I don't know how that goes. She can't move. However, there's a whispering in her ear. Something is whispering something, but she can't understand what it's saying. She's terrified. She's freaking out, right? And after about 10 to 15 seconds, she snaps out of it. Sleep paralysis is done. She instantly sat up to take a breather because that was traumatizing. That was scary. Anybody who's had sleep paralysis know how scary it is. Anyways, as she's sitting there, she's looking at her dresser, and her dresser happened to have a mirror that happened to be facing her. Yeah. In the mirror, she's looking at herself, you know, her reflection sitting up. And as she's looking at herself, something seems off. But then again, like, she just woke up, so her eyes are still kind of blurry. So she like rubs her eyes, trying to figure out, you know, just getting herself together. So she reaches to grab her phone, right? Only to realize, wait a minute, my reaction didn't reach to grab her phone either. That's when she started to really focus on her reaction. reflection, in the mirror, to realize that her reflection, her, in the mirror is sitting up, but she's not moving. She's just looking at her. She stands up, gets a little closer to the mirror to make sure, and her reflection is still indeed sitting there. And as she got closer to the mirror, she realizes her reflection that is not moving also has this shadowy figure standing behind her. And automatically she looks behind her in the room, but there's nobody in the room, but the figure is in the mirror. And if you thought she was terrified from the sleep paralysis before, she's definitely shitting her pants now. She froze, y'all. Like, she froze. As much as she wanted to run out the room, her body gave up on her. And as she's frozen, she's watching this shadowy figure move closer to her reflection and touch her on the shoulder. The crazy thing is, her reflection is not even flinching. Like, it's like her reflection don't even know what's going on, like a zombie. Then, all of a sudden, her reflection is turning her head to face the shadowy figure. And when it made eye contact with the shadowy figure, it started to smile. She started to smile, except it's not her. And then she turns back to look at Lena and smile even wider. Then the shadowy figure whispers something to the reflection of Lena in the mirror. As the shadowy figure is whispering whatever it is that it's whispering, Lena is hearing it in her ear. And it's the same whispering she was just hearing from the sleep paralysis. At this point, she was really frozen, except she doesn't even think at this point that she's frozen because her body is scared. She thinks she's frozen because she's being held in that place, in that spot. She's trying to move. She wants to move, but she can't. It's as if she's tied up to that spot. The more the figure was whispering, the weaker she felt like she was getting. At this point, Lena starts to pray in her mind. Because she's like, this is the end for me. Like, I really want to go. I want to run, but I can't move. And she's hearing those whispers in her ear. And the more she was praying in her head, the angrier the whispers got, the louder the whispers were getting. So she took that as a challenge to try and pray in her mind even louder. All of a sudden, her dad busts into her room. Gets in there, he finds her standing in front of her mirror, staring at it, saying nothing. He instantly scooped her up and brought her to his room. There, as soon as he got there, he grabbed his Bible and started praying. Come to find out, Dad was sleeping and was having a dream. He was having a dream that Lena was screaming and crying for him, saying, help me, Dad, help me, they're taking me away, they're taking me away. Except he was in the middle of a forest, he hears her voice, but didn't know where she was coming from. And then he woke up and decided to go check on Lena. And that's when he found her like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a reason why you should not be sleeping with a mirror facing you. If you know, you know.
And I do know, because my grandma always told me not to have my mirror facing my bed, and she also told me not to have my chair facing my bed. But I have two, what are these called?
There's this girl named Lena. 15 seconds, she snaps out of it, sleep paralysis is done.
I have two sleep paralysis story times, so if you want me to get into that, leave a comment down below, and I'll do a separate video on those.
Breaking news, Gypsy Rose is going back to prison. Or at least that's what everyone has been saying for the last couple days. Here's the full breakdown on what is going on with Gypsy Rose. As you may recall, pregnant Gypsy Rose currently resides with her stepmother and father in the Cutoff, Louisiana. Sources, aka the Blanchards' neighbors, are now saying that Christy and Gypsy got into a fight a couple days ago. They said during this altercation that authorities were called to the home. However, there is no official police documentation or any documentation that this occurred. In addition to that, people are now saying Gypsy Rose was texting other inmates that are currently incarcerated, and that is against the rules of her probation. With that violation, they are saying she will be sent back. There was a phone call recorded between Christy Blanchard's friend and Gypsy Rose speaking about the text messages. Take a listen.
Hey, we'll be decided tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they need, I don't know, I feel like they should have to need proof.
I have no words for that case. Bless their hearts.
So, like 2 minutes ago, I hear the helicopter. You can it's loud, making that noise, and come out here to look. And I'm sitting outside, but I come out from underneath the pool area, and where I could see, and I see blue coming out from underneath it. And, we're thinking it's a flare or whatever. It's not a flare, man. We watched it till it ran out. He legitimately just kept spraying it literally right above my house, this blue chemical, whatever the heck it is. And just flew off, went about his business after it ran out. I stopped recording before it ran out.
This wouldn't be the first that they polluted our air with something bad chemicals.
The Denver International Airport has to be one of the most mysterious and well-known locations that involves a ton of conspiracies, and it's almost like the creators are rubbing it in our faces. This guy went there a few days ago to catch a flight. He was looking for his flight terminal, but he ended up in an area that seemed more like the back rooms. There was nobody back there. Things seemed more like props. I tagged his account down below in case you want to watch his videos. After walking around for some time, he ends up finding another flight terminal, but it was more of like a dead end. There was nothing back there. Keep in mind that outside of this airport is this statue who is known as Blucifer. People think that he is a node to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and he even has a pretty sacrificial sounding past. Lucifer was being built by this man named Luis. When Luis was putting Blucifer together, a section of Blucifer fell off and took Luis's life. Luis's family had to complete the task. Many people are also caught off guard by all of the symbolism that's around the airport. When you go to pick up your luggage, this is one of the gargoyle statues that is there to greet you. There's actually 2 of them.
There's a meaning to that. Please drop it in the comments.
Because it's right there for us to see. There's reptilian references. There's also a ton of murals. I mean, a ton of them. You could run a quick Google search and find so many, and they all seem very dark. They all seem very violent, and children are often referenced. I mean, the art kind of speaks for itself. There's mentionings of a ton of war and destruction. Even this painting, it went viral during the pandemic. The submission date says that it was in 1995. They ended up saying that was just an error, because how would they know about COVID? There's also a ton of UFO sightings in the area, and a lot of people feel that it is connected to the airport. There's also speculation about the tunnels that are underneath the airport. There are tunnels, and NORAD is in the area, but they're said to just be passing luggage through the tunnels, and nothing more. And I mean, they know exactly what they're doing because of how they reference certain things. They're even using the tinfoil hat to kind of mock people. Why would any airport need to reference so many conspiracy theories or use a bunch of symbolism that way?
Did the impractical jokers really just tell us in plain sight?
This is where we're going, selling my soul to this son of...
They done this skit titled Selling Your Soul, where essentially one of the guys was given the option to sell the soul of the shoes or sell his own soul. But it got a little weird after they actually brought up this guy's cousin who had a full contract ready to be signed.
Bring in the notary. So you know my cousin Helen, she's a notary. She brought the contract for you, bud. You're just gonna wanna read this over real quick.
Oh, wow. I, Salvatore Volcano Jr. of Staten Island, do immediately give my eternal soul to James S. Murray of Princeton, New Jersey. Eternal?
Yes, sounds bad, doesn't it?
Use of mine own human to certify the deal. Take my soul. Take my soul.
Oh, no. You fool! You fool!
It's right next to the lines. Is this what you feel like at a contract signing?
Yes.
You can see in his face that he is like, why am I doing this? Why are you doing it?
Yes. No, just so. Congrats, Mark.
Do you think these guys are part of the club as people claim? Let me know what you think.
and settling.
Time travelers are going back in time and changing our history. I know a lot of you remember this video.
What's 9 plus 10?
21, right? It never happened. It never happened.
That's how I grew up. 9 plus 10, 21. I mean, we all know it's 19, but come on now. I'm not crazy. You are.
Did y'all hear about that lady who went on a voodoo retreat in Haiti and never came back, and now they're telling her son that she passed away? Dana Jackson from Charlotte, North Carolina, felt the need that she wanted to be a mumble. And if you don't know, a mumble is a voodoo priestess. Mumbles are born into voodoo. I want to say that 99% of mumbles were born into it. And when I say born into it, it doesn't have to be like directly from your parents, but it's in your bloodline. Now, when she got there, she was in full communication with her family members through WhatsApp. And then communication just stopped. After that, they received a phone call basically telling them like, hey, I'm sorry, but she passed away. And then got a death certificate in the mail, which, to be quite honest with you, it's Haiti. Anybody could have written that. Anybody could have edited that. That's not what I'm saying it happened, but anyway, so obviously her family isn't buying it. I'm not buying it either. So as a Haitian myself, someone that educates you guys about these kind of things all the time, here's what I think happened. I think it's one of those two things. It's either one, she's very much still alive. And I'm not about to joke with you when I say this, but she's probably abducted by some mermaids, was probably sacrificed, and now she's with the mermaids. I understand how ridiculous that sounds, but I'm so dead serious. Or number two, she did pass away. However, they did still sacrifice her. Somebody out there owns her soul, and she's probably on somebody's farm working right now, her poor soul. Which brings me back to what I always tell you guys on here. Voodoo is a closed practice. Not everybody can just up and decide that they want to do voodoo. There's so much to it. There's process. There's so much to it to even start seriously. Even if you were born into it, even if it's in your bloodline, there's so much to it. And I don't think people understand how deep it goes, when it comes to this thing. People learn about spirituality and ancestors and some witchcraft, and they think they're experts. Now, I'm not saying that was her case. But if we learn from Kat, the girl that tried to summon Papa Legba and ended up the same way, not for nothing, I really do feel like she was sacrificed because, unless she went down there, she really went down there on her own. Which I doubt, because how did she know about the retreat? How did she know where to go? Someone is involved here. I don't know. What do y'all think? All my African watchers, my Caribbean watchers, the ones that know how this thing goes, what do y'all think?
I'm not even going to say the full name, but Papa, I've heard a story from an actual actor in real life. They basically had that ritual on set, and real things were happening on set, which is crazy. That's why I will never say the full name, will never say the name out loud in my house ever. You will never hear that name.
Hey, little girl, you know what's evil? Canada! Canada's evil! Canada's evil! Canada's evil! Yeah! Canada's evil! You live in an evil country! No better than Nazi Germany or Soviet Union! Cry, motherfucker girl! Cry! Ah! Fuck you all! You piece of shit governor! You're all guilty!
Some people actually do need help.
If you're home alone or laying in bed, you probably want to skip this one. This story was submitted by one of my followers out of Mobile, Alabama. The story will be a little bit longer, but I want to tell her story because it will literally send chills down your spine. One night, laying in bed on her side, under the blankets with her back facing the door, She was very tired and just ready to go to sleep, and that's when she heard something behind her. Hey, hey, hey. Knowing she was home alone, this instantly sent chills down her whole body. And she said without completely turning her whole body over, she rolled over just enough to see the scariest thing that she'd ever seen in her entire life. As she rolled over, she said she seen this man or creature, demon, whatever it was squatted down beside of her bed, and when she rolled over, she was eye level with it, staring face to face. The first thing she noticed was its glowing yellow eyes, and you have to keep in mind she was eye to eye with this thing. She said her bed was actually very low, so this thing had squatted down and now was just inches from her face. Along with those glowing yellow eyes, she said its teeth were very just jagged and nasty looking, and she could see them because it started just doing this maniacal laugh. Its nose was very long and pointy, and its skin was like something out of a horror film. It wasn't like human skin, it was just this something otherworldly looking, and its skin just had bumps on it, but it was also dressed in all black. She took a deep gasp. She tried to scream, but couldn't get nothing out. She was just frozen. So the only thing she knew to do was, she said she jumped up out of bed and grabbed her car keys and just flew out of the house. She drove to a local gas station and just parked there and stayed the rest of the night. She couldn't bring herself to go back home because she knew she was the only person in that house, and this creature, this demon, it was certainly not a person. A couple weeks go by without any kind of incident, and she's just getting brave enough really to go back to bed in her own bedroom. That is until she's laying there one night, just like she had been the night this all happened before, with her back facing the door, laying on her side. Then she heard it again. Hey, hey, hey. She knew immediately it was this creature once more, and she didn't dare turn over. She knew better than to do that. This time, she said she just immediately leaped up out of bed and she was going to run out of the house like she did before. Except when she got up to go down the hall, she noticed this thing wasn't beside of her bed. It was standing at the end of her hallway, and she would have to run by this creature to get outside. This time, she could make out a little bit more detail. She said she seen the long, gray, stringy hair, and it was wearing a hat. And later on, she would do research about similar incidents people have had, which you could find. I have videos on the top hat man or the hat man. She said, but it wasn't like a top hat. It was more like a golfer's hat, is the way she described it. Since this thing was blocking her exit, she said the only thing she knew to do at that point was just pray. So she just prayed the remainder of the night. Thankfully, prayer works because this thing ended up just vanishing or leaving. But she said that was the beginning of the end for her. She moved out of this house just a couple weeks later, but she had a theory of why this thing may have been there. She was going through a very rough time in her life. She was going through a bad marriage and was just at a really low point. And this is something that she and I discussed too, and I truly believe this. When people are at their lowest, their weakest, most vulnerable points in their life, that's when these demonic entities will try to attack you. This was the most terrifying experience of her life. She said that she could still remember every wrinkle on this thing's face and what it looked like. Thankfully, she did get out of that house and thus far has no other encounters with this creature. But I want to know from you guys if you've ever experienced anything like this, the hat man, a top hat man, or maybe it's wearing like a golfer's hat or whatever. Because I'm seeing a trend with this thing. I actually had an encounter with it when I was a kid, except it was a top hat. Let me know in the comments. You guys have a great day. God bless.
That's creepy. So that is all for my video today. If you guys want to send me more videos, you can do so on my socials. I have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I'll leave them in the description below. I will try to post for you guys at least once a week, maybe twice a week. If it's a good week, maybe, because I have a lot to do in my real life. That was all. If you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that post notification bell so you can know when I upload the next video. And have a good night.